All right, we've made it. It is your final chapter for the semester. This is chapter 11, customer service. This is going to be a very, very, very brief lecture. I'm really just going to highlight a few points and then provide you guys with your final assignment for the semester. Um, I will also say there will be several puzzle questions that will not be discussed within the lecture itself, so that is on you guys to read the text, which is on customer service. So the importance of customer service. In essence, customer service really is a measurement of management performance, where it is the manager's responsibility to start with hiring a crew, hiring a team of people that can effectively meet what they deem a quality customer service experience. So really, that's the first point, and then you have to train a team on what a quality customer service experience is, and then you have to evaluate them, and then you have to continuously monitor and adjust how your team is performing, right? Um, it also is heavily related to the position of your organization. So that's why I keep saying what that organization deems a quality customer service experience. And then inevitably, that this will determine the consumer's behavior, how much they are going to purchase, how frequently they will continue to come back, so on and so forth. So, I mean, many of us have had probably good and bad customer service experiences, and hopefully more good than bad. We've probably had those times where we thought, I like the way these people are interacting or treating me, and thought, I'm going to come back because of this. Right? So, this is just a quote to establish, maintain, enhance, and commercialize customer relationships. So, the text kind of talks about how at some point, uh, an organization's income revenue is going to stagnate. It will plateau. And one way organizations have sought to increase revenue and increase customer loyalty, increase that customer experience, is really enhancing that customer service relationship. So we're going to get into it on the next slide, but it truly is an ongoing process that goes beyond really just this short-term thing. You can have, I mean, we'll start with the first impression, right? So the first impression of an organization is usually not with any employee whatsoever. It's usually via some sort of social media or website or flyer. So if a person is interested in a company's service, well, what do? They start to look for more information. They will go to a website and check out the website. They will go to a social media page and check out the social media page. They might look at the company's like mission or vision statement, saying like, "Hey, what is this company really providing?" So that's kind of the first impression, and that's where you really initially start with, "Hey, this is what we do. This is what we provide," and it's important that that first social media website experience gives a decent glimpse of what your company offers, because you'll see it says right here, mutual exchange and fulfillment of promises. You have to fulfill the things you promise to provide. That is one of the most important aspects of customer service. So then there's the first impression of, or the first contact point of an actual person. And that's where you really summarize and give a more accurate description of what you plan to provide. So I will use my gym as a reference point. So my gym has a website, my gym has a social media page. And you'll see, like on my social media, we do all sorts of things with strength and conditioning training, sports specific training, whatever it is. But it's hard for anyone to get a clear idea of what it is we offer. So then typically what will happen is they'll either come in to see me, or they will give me a phone call or a text and ask for a little bit more information. I usually try to get on the phone and explain these things, and I explain, hey, this is what we're offer. We're about 80% college and high school athletes. We offer a lot of flexibility in terms of training times. It's not a boot camp. People don't come in and do the same training program. They all have their own individualized training program with their own notebooks, so on and so forth. And I kind of go down this, usually on the low end 5 minutes, upwards of like a 15-minute spiel about what it is we promise to offer. And then what happens is I need to make sure that this is what indeed actually happens. Um, when I'm working with my team of people, so I've got about 4 coaches that actually work here, they go through a training process, and, I tell them kind of what it is. I say we're an evidence-based practice that really emphasizes, at least for our athletes, to maximize force production and improve performance on the field. But there's so many things that this encompass, and one aspect of this is really just coming in and providing good energy, a place that people want to be at. If somebody's going to train here 3 to 4 days per week, that is a lot of time for 90 minutes a clip. They're going to be hanging out with you a lot. You have to come in and you have to be high energy. It's very different than, let's say, being some sort of phone operator for a company where you will see one person once and that is it, and it might be, I don't know, a 60-second to 5-minute phone call with that person. These people are around you all the time, and you have to be on your game all the time. So for instance, like, let's say you're high energy most times, but you come in one day where you're a little upset and frustrated, and then all of a sudden that affects your performance as a trainer or a coach. People will remember that, and it could affect their day, it could affect their week. Maybe you, I don't know, inaccurately provide a load for somebody to lift on that day, and they inevitably hurt themselves because you are off your game that day. And this is something that could lead to long-lasting damage to our reputation as a company. Okay, so you can see how one little thing can start to kind of snowball, where it's like, okay, you're tired or you're grumpy, okay, and then all of a sudden you misload somebody, or you forget about somebody's injury that they already had, and all of a sudden that causes another injury. Well, that other injury takes somebody out of sport for an entire month and inevitably damages our reputation as a company. So really, your final assignment, this is your case study. The prior case studies I've given you, this is your third, were directly from the text. Your final case study is something that I am assigning you. What I want you to do is I want you guys to go out to dinner. And this is solely up to you. I would prefer it to be a place where you sit down and order off a menu, but I know those might be a little bit more expensive. You could go to McDonald's, you could go really wherever you want. But what I would like you to do is I would like you, wherever you choose to go out to dinner, is I want you to evaluate the customer service experience. So one, provide a name of the establishment. I want to get an idea of where you're going. You don't need to tell me where it is, what it is. I'm not trying to um, have any of you guys speak poorly on an establishment. That's important. I just want us to take an honest evaluation of their customer service. Within your text, I will provide a screenshot. There are 15 qualities listed of customer service. What I would like you to do is evaluate that establishment on at least 10 of the 15 qualities of effective customer service. And like, what do you mean by evaluate? Well, I don't know. It talks about like tenacity. It talks about attentiveness. So if you're at a restaurant and let's say you have a server, have they been attentive to you? Or are you sitting there with an empty water glass or soda glass for 15 minutes and you're extremely thirsty while you're eating your meal? So they would, in terms of attentiveness, they would probably score relatively low in terms of attentiveness, and you would just explain why. So 1 to 2 sentences per quality. There are certain things on the 15 qualities that might not apply based on whatever it is. That's why I'm only asking you to speak on 10 of the 15 qualities, because some are probably not applicable. And then after you do just this quick bullet point, tell me what the quality is and evaluate them or highlight how that company touched on those qualities, whether good or bad. Finally, after doing all of that, give me a summary of the experience. There is a section that talks about satisfaction and the 5 elements of satisfaction in your text. Evaluate the experience based on those elements. So all in all, this can probably be done on the lowest of ends, 1 upwards of 2 pages. It doesn't need to be much more than that. Just like all of your other case studies, include a cover page, make it APA format, please. And then finally, as I've said a few times as well, make sure it is submitted as either a Word doc or a PDF. That is all, and that is your final lecture. I hope you guys enjoyed the semester, and I hope you guys took something away from this.